Step in the ring, no fear, all bite, hands up high. We train for this fight, bell gon' ring, it's war on sight. This is boxing life, this is fight. Sweat on the floor, we grind, we climb. Every bruise on the body means we're on our time.
Red Corner Boxing. We're in the game.
Yes, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, here Red Corner Boxing. You're with your host, Mr. Neutral, and your co-host tonight was the boxing man from Canada, the man from Nottingham, who's now a Canadian. Sorry about that, mate. That's a terrible joke. But this is a Zuffa Boxing special. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest power struggles boxing has seen in decades, the rise of Zuffa Boxing, and the question everyone is asking, is this the future of the sport or the life or the beginning of a takeover? For over a century, boxing has been controlled by a fragmented system of promoters and sanctioning bodies like the WBA, the WBC, IBF, and so on, WBO. But that structure has now been challenged by a new alliance between Dana White, the team behind the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and Saudi boxing power broker Turki Al-Sheikh, backed by the TKO Group holdings. And the shift is already happening. In a move that shocked the UK boxing scene, Conor Benn walked away from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing after nearly a decade, signing a massive deal with Zuffa Boxing to appear on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus Aslanbek Makhmudov. Reports suggest the deal was worth millions for a single fight, a move that stunned his former promoter and signalled the first major defection in this new boxing landscape. At the same time, global mega fights like Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are now being shaped by Saudi-backed events and partnerships tied to this new structure. So while promoters like Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya warn that a centralized system can threaten boxing's traditional ecosystem, fighters and money appear to be moving in the opposite direction. Is boxing finally getting the unified system fans have always wanted, or are we watching the sport shift from promoter chaos to corporate control? Let's break it all down. And welcome, Brett, the boxing man. Well, you've just had my introduction there. Spent a bit of time on that, but that's basically where we're at with TKO and Zuffa Boxing, Turki Al-Sheikh. Now, take yourself back to when we first heard about this and the reactions people were giving, including yourself, and how it's evolved from then to now. Tell me, mate, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, to be fair, mate, you're right, because I think back to when it first came out and I was tell Dana White to stay in his own lane, take care of your business, which is an unbelievable business, and don't get involved on these side of things, because the big players of boxing have never tried to get involved on the mixed martial arts side. Maybe somebody can quote at me and say, well, such and such tried it at this point, but not to this magnitude and not to this scale. So almost, look, we're going to dive right into it, but at that time it almost didn't feel like it could even be a thing, when they were talking about doing a league, and it was like, no, you're not going to pull this off, lads. And then it was going to be like, well, where's the money going to come from? But we are where we are now. Every day they're signing somebody new, and they're not just signing marquee names; they're signing down as low as the grassroots.
Yeah.
So ultimately, let's see where we get to in this discussion. But more importantly, let's see if the longevity of this, because I was trying to have a good think today, mate, because I want to kind of, as much as you know me, I don't mind kicking off and rearing up about certain things, but I want to see both sides of, like, you're looking into it, and it's split the boxing community, this Conor Benn thing, because a lot of people are saying, well, yeah, okay, he could have, should have spoke to him, but this is an entertainment business, and they're the ones that put all the risk up. So if people are going to pay big money, then where is the loyalty? Is the loyalty to your family, or is it to the promoters that have stuck by you? Of course, I've got my own thoughts on that. But ultimately, it's a very, very strange one because it's dividing. It's dividing a lot of opinion.
Yeah, I remember a lot of us were talking about it. Were very critical, myself included. I mean, I was critical in a more realistic sense that the ambitions and what they were talking about in this league system was, for me, logistically was going to take 2 to 3 years just to get off the ground. But we got a picture of the roster so far. There it is, and there you can see there's 5 columns. It's got to be 15, 20 boxes a column there. So, near on 100 boxes there, more or less. And some good names there, very good names, including obviously a name like Conor Benn. Now, for decades, boxing's operated through this fragmented ecosystem of sanctioning bodies, promoters, broadcasters. And we're getting to the point of criticism of the system. Boxing is broken. We talked about that before in our 3-part series on Riyadh and Turkey Al Sheikh, and that was the motto, the slogan, going to fix boxing. And because of the system has multiple champions per division, for instance, the sanctioning bodies, the promoters playing politics, delaying fights, broadcast exclusivity, blocking matchups. Now, when Saudi Arabia enters global boxing in 2023, when Turkey Al Sheikh, chairman of the GEA, come into from Saudi Arabia, began funding major boxing events through Riyadh season, and the fights that he made, which were not possible otherwise at that time, was Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, and it's that impact that suddenly removed the financial barriers that had prevented many super fights.
Bivol Betibiev, that was one that would have never have got made without him. To be honest, let's have it right. We all wanted to see that fight, but we wouldn't have seen it if it hadn't have been for him. So I will absolutely. You know me, like I'm ready to dive into this, but I've been a fan of Turkey's up to now, and I'm just concerned that the idea behind their model. Although you did point something out today of which we'll probably get into about. Yeah. Yes, they said they were going to be their own promotional company and only work with their own promotional fighters. But as we've seen today, they're working with other promoters on this big breakout card.
Yeah, that's coming up. Let's just move on to the next bit about. Do you remember that conversation me, you, and Raf from Punch Out Boxing had on the third part of Red Corner's exclusive sort of series about the rise of Riyadh, and this title of that episode was called Control, and we were talking about how one day, is it possible that Turkey Al Sheikh wants to control the system and initiate a rebellion? People can go back and watch this that episode. It was streamed about 6 months ago on Red Corner Boxing. We'll get I should have had the details up for that already, but if people want to go back and watch that, they'll see that what we're showing tonight is exactly what was forecasted by all three of us back then. Right, let's get some reaction from the promoters to TKO and Dana White. We're going to start off with Eddie Hearn, and obviously, his take on how Zuffa we're going to go on moving forward. Jams, roll the tape.
Gotcha. You said that recently in an interview you just had, that you feel like it's a two-way race. It's you and Dana for boxing. But my question is, what are you racing towards? What does that look like? Like, where are we going in boxing, in your opinion? And what is your aim?
So I think with TKO and Dana coming in, it just allows us to be a little bit more clear on what we're trying to do. When they talk about bringing in a new belt, when they talk about maybe changing the ring, changing the Muhammad Ali Act and, belts don't matter and all this kind of stuff, we actually pivot and double down on where we're going. And that looks like understanding the history and the legacy of the sport, making boxing great again, making the best matchups in boxing, and understanding that legacy, belts, history matter. You know, I know Maurizio Sullivan was very pleased with my comments yesterday, and I meant them. I didn't, you know, the WBC belt, the WBA belt, the IBF belt, they matter. And trust me, they matter to fighters. If you really want a legacy in the sport and you want to really create history in this sport, those belts are part of that history. They're part of your heroes' legacies. They were wrapped around the belts of all the people you dreamed of becoming. Do you know what I mean? And
absolutely,
no one's going to want to fight for a Zuffa belt unless you have nowhere to go in boxing, or you just want money, and that's not really a model that they're looking to do. So, you know, for me, we're in a position where we can really work on the beauty and the greatness of the sport of boxing, and that suits me because I love this sport, and I'm not going to bastardize it. You know, I just said it to you, I want to make money, but I'm not going to jeopardize the sport. When I went into did YouTube boxing, it didn't make me feel good inside, and I left a lot of money on the table getting out of that space. But this is what I love. I love greatness, I love the sport, and I'm saying to fight fans, I'm appealing to them, come with me. You know, if you love this sport, come with me. Let's go on a journey together and let's make boxing great again.
Credit to KG, the Puerto Rican kid, for that clip. Brett, as that video went on, it was getting a bit more painful for me. Knowing what he said then and what we know now. Let's get another reaction. This time from roll the tape, Charms. It will come.
There hasn't been any pushback. Okay. This is like beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies. I expected more. I expected some pushback. I expected some, I don't know, them to be more game. They're all way out of their league. Like, absolutely, positively out of their league. I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, oh, this guy's a visionary, or, the guy's been in boxing forever. I look at him like most politicians. You've done nothing in the sport except stay in the lane and, play by all the rules and, ride right along with but you ended up becoming part of the problem, is what happened. And I don't want to sit here and smash Eddie Hearn or anything else, but Eddie Hearn works for his dad. You know what I mean? He works for dad. And, I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision, whereas we do. And we're gonna change the entire sport. And I understand the people who are the status quo in boxing don't like it. But it doesn't mean they can't still do their thing. If your thing is as good as you think it is, and you are as good as you think you are, then do your thing. Good luck to you. I'm going to do my thing, and they're going to do theirs. Eddie Hearn and his dad have a lot of money. It's not like they can't compete. They can't compete because they don't know how to compete. There's no vision there. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And listen, I'm sitting here, my third fight in. I'm either right or I'm wrong.
Oh, man, he went to town already there. You babies, and, you've done nothing to challenge this. Is he right?
Look, at the end of the day, that was what Dana is known for, the bully mentality, and he's trying to push down on obviously an aging Frank and a silver spooned Eddie, I suppose, and he knows how to smack talk. He's in that game, mate. Boxers obviously they've had their back and forth, but think about the way that the UFC have set their press conferences up. I think boxing started to change it a little bit, didn't it? You know how like originally the boxer would come up to the mic, and just say their bit and go sit down. Over the years, when they've seen the success of what UFC, all that smack talking's part of it. So what he's basically doing is he's bringing his smack talk in there, and he's kicking down on these lads, and he's got a reaction from both of them because both of them have reacted to the baby comment. He's trying to get them rattled. He's trying to get underneath their skin. But at the end of the day, what I think it will end up doing. I mean, money talks. So let's see where this goes. But Money was going to talk with Triller as well. Triller was going to be the new thing. I think it's going to start to maybe create a bit of unity between the lads that haven't usually got on so well together. The actual legitimate boxing people will start to try and put their own events on together. If he's going to come in with that bully boy, we're doing it our way, you're all babies, I thought you was going to give me more competition, I'm taking over. It might create a bit of unity, mate. It might create a bit of unity.
Indeed, the Rebel Alliance will be formed. You know, you've got Queensbury are now taking action against Sealer and TKO. Eddie has obviously said his piece. Let's hear what Golden Boy have got to say about Zuffa and TKO boxing.
It's your favorite time of the week again. Time for the only segment in boxing that gives you the facts and makes you laugh. It's Clapback Thursday. So, the big debut of Zuffa is out, and it couldn't be less of what they promised us it would be.
What the fuck is that?
There was no new ring, there was no new belt, no new rules, and no faces anybody recognized.
Who are those guys?
They told us boxing was broken and they were coming to change it and fix it. But all they did was copy and paste what we have been doing for 100+ years. We all have eyes. You cannot blow smoke up our ass.
You don't need to blow smoke up my ass.
And tell us it's the wind anymore. So here we go. The Ring brand is officially fake news.
It's called fake news.
It's owned now by Turkey, who's partnered with Zuffa, whose correspondence is officially spent the week sucking up to Uncle Fester and Zuffa. They are all completely biased. Max Kellerman, his commentaries were cringeworthy.
What the hell happened to Max Kellerman?
And he was destroyed on social media for the blatant selling of his standards and credibility in boxing. He's been branded as the first official Zuffa puppet.
Like Roy Jones.
You could hear a pin drop in that arena, and there was zero vibe or excitement.
It's so dead in here.
And I'll say what everyone is thinking. Nobody wants to watch a club show boxing in the Apex with influencers.
Thank you.
Who give two shits about boxing.
I don't even care if he fucking wins.
It honestly felt like a COVID bubble show. It had the look of a club show with the action of a sparring session. There's a reason why those fighters were passed over by the top promoters, and it was obvious for the world to see. The Zuffa uniforms were generic and unappealing.
Uniforms indicate more than just uniforms. It indicates a wide-arching theme here.
They wouldn't even allow their fighters to wear their own trunks.
Of it being very sterile.
To express their personalities and pride.
Of it being very corporate.
And unique culture. With them, you are just a transaction, a product on a shelf to be sold. You're not a person. Nothing feels natural or organic about Zuffa.
I'm trying to free your mind.
Everything feels bought or manufactured. The praise is too fake and purchased. Look, I have to believe that Nick Khan and TKO sold a plan to Turkey that sounded really great, and Turkey believed it and agreed to finance Zuffa.
At some point you have to execute.
But they couldn't execute it. They're having to backpedal now, and the plan is obviously completely changed. And it isn't working.
No, we got a lot of work to do.
This isn't the UFC that was the only show in town at the beginning. This is a sport that's established.
By the end of the year, we'll be where I want to be.
And has been for 100+ years. And has too much history behind it. Look, they wanted a league. Well, this is the XFL of boxing. If I was 17 years old all over again, and I had just won the Olympics, and had the choice of going to an established promoter like Bob Arum or a brand new promotion who is selling me on revolutionizing the sport, my decision is easy. I'm not gambling my career on someone who tells me I'll have to wait and see.
We're building a whole new team here.
Today, Junior?
And a lot of people have never done this before.
Didn't even try.
So it's going to take some time.
What the plan is? But hey, at least they'll give you a free pair of shorts and let you use their gym. That's about all the upside of Zuffa at the moment. And I swear, if Jai Obatai fights in the Apex in March, I will consider this venture a complete failure. I guess we will just have to take Uncle Fester's advice and just wait and see.
I don't know yet.
So remember, folks, you're never a hater if you only speak the facts.
Well, there you have it. Oscar De La Hoya's clapback Thursday. You know, obviously he's talking from a promoter standpoint. I get it, but is it plausible to say that the pre-digital age in which Oscar not only fought under but has performed under as a promoter as well is coming to an end, and there's an evolution in boxing? As much as we, better the devil you know, is Zuffa to be given a chance before they get off the ground, or should we just treat it as? What do you think?
I mean, to be fair, that obviously Oscar is the king of the wind up now. But if you actually break that down, some of what he says makes a lot of sense. To be honest, mate, right now, he's talking a lot of sense. He's saying that if you're the big next hot up and coming kid, are you gonna go with somebody that can promote your career efficiently, like the top boys? There's a lot of top boys there. You say what you want about Oscar, he's done good job for fighters. He's had them paid. Yeah, there's things that he's supposed to have done contractually with Ryan and things like that. But you've got him, you've got Frank, you've got Eddie, you've got Aram, you've got all these big boys. So what he's basically saying is that they're tried and tested. This it almost is for someone like a Conor Benn, that can cash out. This is, as it stands right now, this isn't a building platform to create the next superstar. As it stands right now, this is more of for me a quick way of bagging cash. They'll promote you. They'll get you on their shows. They'll say who they've got, give them a bit of puff in the chest out. But it's really, 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 really interesting because it could be a success because of the financial backing behind it and the faces that it's got. I.e., he's a good front man, Dana, and obviously you've got Turkey, that's the most aggressive man within the sport now. But it could also fall completely on its ass. It just is in that stage. Could be great, because I know you've got some opinions, but it could be great. But as it stands right now, we don't have enough information to find out where this is going.
Yeah, interesting. Obviously, we know about the multiple promotional companies within boxing. Is it fighter pay concerns? Is it risk of monopolization under a centralized system, rather much like the UFC? That there's so much pushback. Instead of saying, "Welcome to the club. Let's see what you can do for boxing and fighters and that." All right, you operate under a different system, but it's almost like they don't want them in the playground. It's like the new kid, he's just come to the new school, he's come to the playground, and they go, But boxing's biggest enemy is itself sometimes, with the fragmentation, the politics, the delayed fights. Could it not be that Zuffa could provide the structure the sport desperately needs, Brett?
Yes, it could. But the thing is, mate, and Dana won't do it this way. It probably needed to start on a really, really small scale, and build this new thing. Trying to go in, signing all these fighters, creating all this noise about what it's going to be. It could have served its purpose with maybe what I thought it was going to be. When we started having this chat about the league, I was like, all right, go get a load of young fighters, have them grafting, create a new superstar, and then start to build your platform. But the fighters that obviously J.R. Patel was a massive signing, Conor Benn's a massive signing, Walsh, Jagba, you got these Venezuela, you've got these names now, and then there's some big rumors of course I won't mention the rumors on here, but there's some big rumors of some huge names that they're about to throw their money at. So in terms of what you're saying, I do get it, but I think it needed to start with almost not grassroots, but like that early phase of it gives fighters a platform to be great. You know, almost like it's not the same, but you know, like the Contender Series. You know, like when you see where I'm going with that, though, don't you, mate? Like where you've got a cluster of fighters that try and come through and break through.
And that's probably off the back of that is where this league system idea has got, but under a broader scale, you know, we've seen the list, and you know, you couldn't obviously house that many fighters under one roof. You'd have to, you know, do it on an industrial scale. Now, if Zuffa, sorry, on you go.
No, sorry, mate. I was just gonna say that's how they built it before. That's how they became this global iconic company, by building fighters up that way. But I don't, you know, ultimately, you're talking about trying you in to say boxing is broken. That's your way in to say boxing is broken. For a time, boxing was stalling, right? And UFC was flying. UFC was flying. But since the emergence of Turkey, and yes, it's a different conversation because he's gone that way, it's made other promoters start working with each other. So I know he's trying to take his own lane here, but you know, they're all willing to work with each other right now, because they're frightened of being left behind. And you made a really good point there. Is there a certain let's get together and let's push back against this? Yes, they're feared of Dana. They're feared of Dana because they know how aggressive he is, mate. They know they know he's a winner. He's a born winner, Dana. But I just don't think they're ready to do it on the magnitude that they want right now. They're looking to just go straight and host these big events, and it should have been a building up time.
We saw back in 2018, Turkey al-Sheikh, the Saudi commission under the former chairman, enter the boxing fray, as you like, with an exhibition match, Andy Ruiz, not an exhibition, the rematch, Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia as a testing ground. Is it a case of that and Zuffa are bringing this big event over to England? Is it a case of win the British fans over first, like they did with, you know, signing the big heavyweights to go over there, get the British fans on board? They've done that, work with the British promoters. Is it a case of this one as well, to ease in the American market? It's almost like the Brits are the testing ground for, you know, new ideas and especially new entrepreneurs in boxing.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, because it's not a skeptical market, is it? The two headline fighters are tried and tested. One's put 100,000, just under 100,000 in Wembley, and one's put 60,000 in at Spurs. So at the end of the day, they're not going to fail on this event at all. They're not going to fail. It's clever. It's clever from them to spend a bit of dough on this first one to get their name out there. But at the same time, what next after this one? What next? Where are they going? Who's going to sign? You know, Jam's put a couple of names up there. Ultimately, it's going to, with the Conor Ben showing the loyalty that he's shown recently, it makes it very easy. It makes it very easy for the fighters to jump ship, because no one has done any more for a fighter than what Matchroom did for Conor Ben. No one. So there's going to be no loyalty from Fury. Usyk goes where the money is anyway, from what I'm hearing. He's sniffing, and they're all best mates with Turkey. So Turkey just flies him over, sits him down, and says, "Right, this is your next 3 fights, and this is the amount of money I'm going to pay you."
So do you remember I said in that episode of Control, a Riyadh season, I said Turkey has got direct access to boxers now, bypassing the promotional companies, and that's going to become more and more of a problem as time goes by. I said that. I remember saying that.
You said it. That's what Frank and Eddie have done at the time is they did sell their soul to Turkey, right? For all that dough. But what had happened was as you said back then, it gave him the opportunity. Simon Jordan talks about it really well, whether you like Simon Jordan or not, right?
I love Simon.
But he talks about it really well when he said to Eddie a year ago, you're giving this man access to seeing everything that you do, the production. You're giving him access to show you how you speak to fighters, show you how you get a deal over the table. He's just going to assemble his team and go, copy that, copy that, copy that, copy that, copy that.
Thank you.
And that's what he's done.
Control, baby. He's got the Ring magazine. He's got the broadcaster now. He's got the legitimacy with the belt, where it will come in direct competition to the traditional sanctioning bodies. This has all been forecasted. We didn't want to believe it. We didn't think he could pull it off. This is why I think Zuffa are going to be a major threat in a big way to the traditional way of life in boxing. I've said this for a long time. I can see it coming. He bought the Ring magazine, the Bible of boxing. He's bought shares in DAZN. He's got his own platform. Now he's got TKO. He's going to have his own sanctioning body. BoxRec, the records. If you add it all up,
what connects him to Netflix, mate? Do we know anything about that? Is there any rumors why he's got a direct access to that?
I've no idea. I think TGO's holdings have Paramount.
Yeah, they've got Paramount for sure. But he has. I mean, look. At the end of the day, I mean, Netflix right now, they'll work with anybody, won't they? So that's probably a mute point from me asking there. But this Zuffa is supposed to be in conjunction with Paramount, isn't it?
Exactly. Now let's hear from Eddie Hearn again.
With Turkey will tell you, I'm going to fuck you. Do you know what I mean? And I will say to him, I'm going to fuck you too. Everyone's different. Look at Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher went to the Netflix presser. They come up to him and had a conversation with him. The first thing he done was phone me and tell him you got to speak to Eddie Hearn. That's why when people take the piss out of me about Anthony Joshua, now he's on a career-long contract with Matchroom anyway, but I don't even really feel like I need a contract with Anthony Joshua because he's made a different stuff. And when people like Johnny do things like that, that changes everything in terms of my commitment towards them. I made a commitment towards Conor Benn to put everything on the line for him in terms of my integrity, at times, my health, do you know what I mean? My mind, to go in and argue with Simon Jordan for a year on TalkSport, to argue with the British Boxing Board of Control, to argue with the whole of social media, to argue with every journalist in the game, to repeatedly stand by him, and that's what hurts the most, you know. But sometimes you forget who you are and you forget what life really is, and you think that actually what you've, like in Conor's mind, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. It's just the world, and he's a young man in this crazy world, and sometimes you're going in and you're dropping 50 bags in Louis Vuitton like it's a packet of Haribos, and you just, your head's gone. Do you know what I mean? And Frank Smith's over there laughing because I told him, I said, I was thinking Eubank might say something nice, and he was like, are you fucking mad? That Eubank, he's not very well. When you went through what I went through and you died on a hill for someone and you took the bullets of 100 armies and you felt that the person was different to how you found out the person is, that's more disappointing. With Turkey, no problem. But with Turkey, you can have those conversations. As long as you have an honest conversation, it doesn't really matter what comes out of it. With Turkey will tell you, I'm going to fuck you. Do you know what I mean? And I will say to him, I'm going to fuck you too. The other side is we're friends, we're family, we're a team, you know, and we're not really, are we? Let's be honest. It just makes you question everything that's happened, the relationship, do you know what I mean? So that's what leaves a bit of pill in it. But I'm not going to come out and start slagging off Conor Benn. Conor's made a decision for himself and what he feels is right. But sometimes you lose your head a little bit in this world where you actually forget what's right and wrong.
He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies close.
That's the lesson of the day. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. The thing is here, though, he talks of Johnny Fisher. He talks of other boxers when they're in contract. The crucial point with Conor Benn here is, and he was careful not to slag off Conor Benn because he was talking about integrity. He was talking about what I did for him and all the rest of it. But what he also did was let his contract run out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the signals, as far as you could Conor Ben, he said what he said about, it's for life and all that. But since that win against Eubank Jr., he has gone on a charm offensive, event after event after event, talking, calling out other boxers. He's been the topic of many a conversation in America, on the lips of many boxers' mouths, in terms of fights that are going to be made or potentially could be made with him. And now he signed with Zuffa, which was a shock to him. But in the business world, there's not many people that are shocked. Roll the tape. I think we got it. Maybe not. But it was a tape of someone else saying, you've got to be on
Ben,
your...
what was your take on it? Loyalty's a big deal in that.
It's not a shock for me. I've been there and it's happened to me. I've seen it happen. He fought hard for him. He stood by him in the terrible times that he had. He was saying, loyal, money mean nothing. But at the end of the day, that happened. Eddie had a chance, I think, to match the offer. Chose not to do it or couldn't do it or whatever happened. He's had a big result. I've got to be honest, I don't see him at that level yet.
So you can kind of understand the decision making, thinking there's 15 mil there.
If Eddie offered him 13 or whatever it was, I don't know. I mean, but the bottom line of all it is, he beat Chris Eubanks, who for me has never been above that level.
Eddie made it into an auction, an underbid, like one of his pus bids.
Yeah, look, I suppose, I've obviously been a big Matchroom fan and a big Frank fan just because of that's what I've grown up with. But the reality is behind the scenes, I bet his dad is fuming.
Yes.
Because he'll be like, how the have you not got him signed on a contract? Like, how has he done that? Like, okay, we're talking about, loyalty and all what he's done. They're not loyal. They're not loyal. They're fighters. They want to earn as much money as they can. And, you get a Johnny Fisher that will say, speak to Eddie. Eddie's my guy. I get it. But Johnny Fisher's not just been offered £15 million for one fight. So the reality is Eddie has messed up here big time. We can talk about the Zuffa this and Zuffa that, but in that game, if you've got a commodity, they're all sniffing. They're waiting. Eddie's done it to promoters. Look what he did. Look what he did with Whittaker. Whittaker could go on to be, and I know he had that bad performance against Liam Cameron, but Whittaker could go on to be the next big British superstar. And Eddie was waiting for his moment, and boom, he got him. And even there, as much as I stick up for a lot of things that Eddie does and says, even there, Ben Shalom said, well, look at what Eddie said. Look what Eddie's promotion was. Show me the money. Show me the money. And he said, and he took him from me. He took him from me, and we had to bounce back. So Eddie leaving him open with no contract, I'm not going to sit and say he deserves it because that's a bit harsh for what he did to him. It's just somebody at that level should not think a fighter is not going to need a contract. Do you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah. I'm going to give a quick shout out to a friend of ours of the channel, Mr. Ray Trilogy.
Big up, Ray.
Yeah, this feels good. Yeah. Beaver is the commissioner. Big Smoke. Big Move TA. There's some classic shit right here. Benjamins, you got another one with this one. Now go.
We all the way up, we in the clouds now. We up here living good, we ain't coming down. Niggas was talking, they still scared and stuff. We got on our grind, made our own luck.
Go, that's Ray Dollar Trill Dollar Bell, Ray Trilogy, aka the Commissioner. That's Regime. It's out now. Go and check it out on all your music platforms. Right, back to this this conversation. Now we're seeing some defections there could be some more on the way, because Jams, if you can put up the fight poster for the Makhmedov and Fury event, and you'll see on the undercard, on the undercard of that, you've got not only Conor Benn and Regis Progre. Want to give Regis a big shout out here in Red Corner Boxing. We wish him all the best. You know, you've got Justice Hooney, Fraser Clark, Richard Riakfor, Jimmy TKV, Felix Cash. These are all matchroom boxers, mate.
Yeah.
What's, you know, on my first question is, where's Zuffa's exclusivity, you know, policy gone? And where's Eddie's stance from the interviews that we've just been shown on there? It seems to be a big contradiction in terms of what's going on, and you know, behind the scenes. Are they taking us all for a ride here?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's almost like when the rappers have these phantom battles, eh? And behind the scenes, they're texting each other saying, "Let's go after each other today, so that we can bring a few more eyes." I see what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, Frank said it quite good in one of the interviews that I saw about, you know, why you're allowing Tyson to headline, and he said, "I'm not the promoter of this event, but I'm still Tyson's promoter." So obviously, the promoters are still going to earn money from their commodity by being on these cards. But yeah, same as you, extremely interested to find out why no one's talking about that. I mean, obviously, in the media game now, they're going to get the promoters are going to get asked after that got released today. Eddie's next question is, well, are you working with them then? There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you working with them then? Because, you know, ultimately, they're on his card. So
yeah, if Zuffa are no good for boxing, you know, no fighter will want to fight for them, all the rest of it, why are they working with them?
Yeah,
is it an over-reliance on the financial power of the Saudis now with these promoters? Is it promoter hypocrisy at its finest?
I mean, interestingly enough, Frank will get paid from that lawsuit, by the way.
Oh, massive.
That'll get set up. Frank's not stupid. Frank's not going to throw one of these writs out there if he didn't know that they've absolutely messed up somewhere. So Frank's going to get a bag of money out of this, and that's why he's gone out there and said something. But I don't, you know, you two can quote me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard Eddie say anything really, really negative about Turkey, because he's still probably shit scared, because he knows that I know Anthony Joshua's wrapped into that big contract, but Turkey holds all the keys to the biggest financial fight that we've ever seen, which is Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Turkey still holds the keys to pay for that.
Let's get another viewpoint on what's going on. Let's listen to Darren Till.
Why is like everyone so shocked that Conor Benn's got no morals and Eddie's got no morals? We've all got no morals. Would Eddie snake him given the opportunity? Most probably. So yeah, mate, it's just so fickle. Everyone banging on about loyalty in this game. There's no real loyalty in the world. Everyone's loyal to themselves. And maybe now and then you get someone who's loyal to the wife and kids. Maybe. Eddie, Dana, Frank, Ben, like, they're all just complete egomaniacs, and it's all. I even look, and I've this, by the way, seen Dave Allen talking about it, and Dave Allen, probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. But no, you're not loyal. No one's loyal. I'm not loyal, and I've just banged on about it. We're loyal to ourselves, and that's the bottom line. We are. Why is like everyone so shocked that Conor Benn's got no morals and Eddie's got no morals? We've all got no morals. We're all just trying to upstep someone. No one's genuinely happy if you're doing better than them. No one, honestly, mate, I couldn't care less. I have no feelings towards anyone in this game. People that probably think they're friends with me, they'd have a big shock. You're not my friend. Tyson Fury loves banging on the camera, he doesn't care about money. Hang on a minute, doesn't care about money? Are you sure about that? Are you sure? If anyone doesn't care about money, it's me. I throw my money away. I go out in the car and I just hang notes out. I don't care. But again, I do care, because why would they be doing this, mate? Just honestly, everyone's just so, Eddie's crying and Dana's crying and Conor Benn's a moron. Everyone in this game's a model, mate, including me. I'm probably the most immoral guy out there.
He seems to be highlighting this. Let's see, this evolution that I've called it before. That it's dog eat dog out there. Hence the title of its show. It is dog eat dog, and I think the Zuffa is the elephant in the room when the red herring is a red herring, because the biggest threat to boxing and promoters may not be Zuffa Boxing itself. It may be Netflix.
Yeah.
Because this card is going to break some contract rules, breach of contracts with DAZN, with Eddie Hunt, some of his boxers. This is being streamed on Netflix, but there has been crossover promotions before.
Yeah.
This could be a testing ground for a hybrid broadcasting platform. It falls into legitimacy just for me because DAZN charge a subscription fee for these PPV fights. You know, some will say that's a horrendous cost, but it's £22 a month in the UK, and you get all the PPV fights and all the, you know, other boxing included. Where Netflix is a much lower subscription fee, but it's far more exclusive fights like this card. They're not going to offer anywhere near the competition they could for DAZN. Could there be a case for a happy marriage in these crossover events to enhance Seller and TKO even further?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you said it earlier. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, mate. I don't know if it's all, like you said, maybe it's all promotional companies pushing their chests out to bring more eyes towards them. But seemingly, I would be more interested to see how Frank and Eddie come out over the next couple of weeks to discuss why and how this all marrying up. Because one thing Eddie has said is he's going to keep a very close eye. I don't know if you'll be able to get near it, but he wants to keep a very close eye on this contract for Ben fighting Regis. Because if it's not for the 15 million that he talked about, he's gotten banged to rights. He's gotten banged to rights because he said the promotional deal that he had, or he's able to match it or offer it or something. He said he's going to keep a close eye. Yeah, he's going to keep a close eye on this. And the reason why, because he couldn't match what Conor was getting offered for this one fight.
For one fight, yeah.
But he's asking the question, mate. Is he getting paid 15 million for the Regis fight?
It's a great question as well, Brett, isn't it? If to me, to justify giving Conor Ben 15 million against Regis Prograis on the undercard is because that Netflix and Zuffa have come to an agreement on passes. A total amount for the pass for each fight, and it's a half a gamble, but it's within the budget that Zuffa have been given by Netflix for this, because they'll have to sign over everything else to Netflix. You know, when it comes to that, these deals now could be setting benchmark standards moving forward, you know. And this, for me, is the real question: is whether Zuffa will change boxing. It's whether boxing can survive without change. And this is what they're, you know, saying to the fans, to the media. The four sanctioning bodies are just not cutting it anymore. There's too many you know, it even goes down to the judging within the sanctioning bodies. It's getting questioned week in, week out. And it, you know, and in closing to this, you know, especially from my point of view, Is boxing evolving into a more organized global sport, or is power simply shifting from promoters to new centralized authority? That's the only question for me here. The gamble on Conor Benn is for the UK. They're gambling $15 million on breaking the UK market. Like I said before, the testing ground is the British market. You survive over here, you're going to survive in America.
Yep.
It's one of them. Anthony Joshua, Ricky Hatton, Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno, all Tyson Fury, all have been the benefactors of high popularity, British tested, tried and tested market that have gone on to be successful abroad in every market. Anthony Joshua is actually idolized across 5 continents.
Yeah.
You saw the way he was commanding the American audience when he fought Jake Paul. They're in awe of him.
They're in love.
He couldn't get out of the fight arena. Such was the fans wanting to. I've never seen that in a foreign heavyweight before on American soil.
No, agreed.
So it just goes to show that they're on to something, Zuffa, here for me. However, a lot to be done, a lot to do, and a lot to take in, and they're going to be analysed and microscopic investigations into the finances and all the rest of it. It's going to be incredible, moving forward to analyse this project and to keep an eye on it. But Brett, give us your last thoughts on not only Zuffa, but what we've talked about tonight and what we're looking forward to in the future.
Look, at the end of the day, as somebody that chops this up quite a bit with yourselves at Red Corner Boxing and anybody that wants to chat about fighting, because I love it. I just want to see the best fight the best. I want to see the fighters get paid, and I want to see spectacles. I want to see the things that we want to see. So at first, when we did the initial series, and I was Team Turkey, because I'm like, I'm not going to see these fights in my lifetime without Turkey. That's how I felt, like who we brought to the table, how we did it. But little did we know, well, we did kind of know because you said it. He was on a fact-finding mission as well. He was putting a lot of dough out there, and he was like, show me every secret in this trade. And then what I'm going to do, lads, when I'm ready, is I'm going to take it. Now, like you said, the evolution of the sport, is it too heaped in history with the names of the promoters that we spoke about tonight, with the governing bodies, with like what Eddie says? People want to see that golden green strap, the WBC. People want to see that. People want to put that around their waist. It's steeped in iconic memories for people. So the bottom line is, I very much look forward, mate, to doing a part 2 on this further down the line, because I think we're at the point now, mate, of we've had a little bit of a say. We're not concluding anything right now because we need to see what the next steps are. We need to see what Zuffa's steps are, what Turkey's steps are, and is everybody going to come to the playground to play nicely? That's what we need to know. And then we'll know if there's going to be longevity with Zuffa.
I couldn't have said that any better, mate. That was so well said. They got to come and let the guy in the playground. And maybe everyone can benefit from this extra commodity, this extra entity in promotional boxing that will drive boxing forward. They drive crazy marketability and generative audiences in UFC. They want to bring a certain model of that. But as I said before, it's going to have to be on a much broader scale, a massive scale, to pull it off. But yeah, like we said, we'll definitely get another episode out of this. But we just don't want to get into a situation where there's an over-reliance on Turkey al-Sheikh and Saudi money for the likes of Golden Boy, Eddie Hunt, Queensbury, to make the bigger fights. At some point, they're going to have to play ball because there's only one entity at the moment, and that's Turki Al-Sheikh, that's got the financial power now to control what he wants to see. And that's where you're quite right. He splashed out all that money to buy boxing. And it's not cheap. It never has been cheap. But it's achievable now. He's built the foundations across the board, from authority to records to broadcasting to his own promotional company. The boxers are going direct. He's sitting next to them ringside every fight. Yeah, I could see it a long time ago and what this was going to evolve into. Tried to warn you. We did, didn't we, Brett? We tried to warn them. Now, join us next time. But before that, I want to thank everyone who's been in the comments. If you're new to Red Corner Boxing, you're seeing us for the first time, please give us a like and subscribe. It's free and it's painless, and we do appreciate it because it helps the channel grow. But don't take my word for it. Listen to this great legend.
Hey UK fans, this is Josh Juarez, undefeated heavyweight boxer from Laredo, Texas. Just want to give a shout out to Jam Red Corner Boxing.
There you go. Part of the Roy Jones Jr. team there, giving us a shout out there. Thanks to him. And thanks.
He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies close.
And that's the message here that Eddie Hunt should have done. He should have tied up that young man, and we wouldn't be here. The British public, boxing public community, absolutely mourning and feeling sorry for Eddie Hunt. He created the situation himself. He invested so much of his own time, energy, money, only to let it slip through his fingers like water and into the hands of one of his biggest up-and-coming competitors, who he was trying to steal Fight Week in Buenos Aires. And Virgil Ortiz didn't go to plan, Edward. Sorry to say, mate. These are the caveats of business. Keep your eye on the ball while the mice will play. While the cat's away, the mice will play. I think this the saying goes. But thanks to our sponsors, Boxing Fight Zone.
BoxingFightZone.com for all your boxing apparel.
Boxing Fight Zone, we thank them very much. And of course, EasyStorage.com. Go and check them all out in the bios. Well, Brett, thank you very much for this show. We did talk about it. We said, let's do it. Let's get it done. We've done it. Fancy part 2 next time?
Oh, mate, don't leave me out on part 2, because
let's do it.
I'm excited to where it's going, mate.
Let's do it. And that'll be coming soon. We'll give it a couple of months, see how it goes, see what how it evolves. But from myself, from my mate Jams in the background, thanks for your wonderful work there, pal. Very well done. And to Brett the Boxing Man. From me, Mr. Neutral, we'll see you next time. Protect yourselves at all times.
No fear, all bite, hands up high. We train for this fight, bell gon' ring, it's war on sight. This is boxing life, this is fight night. Sweat on the floor, we grind, we climb. Every bruise on the body means we're on.